It's opening day eve, and to celebrate, Colby and I are going to make 3 bold predictions each for the Mariners 2023 season. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. This is Trident Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. Thank you so much for making us your first listen. Subscribe, like, and turn on alerts if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform if you like what you hear. And if you want to hear from us even more, please consider signing up for our Patreon by scanning the QR code right above my head. The link, as well as our social accounts, is also in the description below. And on the show today, Colby and I are each going to make 3 bold predictions for the Mariners' upcoming season, and be sure to stick around until the middle of the show to find out how you can win a signed Big Dumper card and also help get some meals to those in need. But Colby, it is the day before the big day, opening day. Luis Castillo versus Shane Bieber, the Mariners versus the Guardians. Very, very exciting. We're going to be previewing that game. We're going to be doing our overall regular season, MLB wide preview and Mariners preview on tomorrow's episode. But today we're going to get into some bold predictions. We're going to be doing 3 apiece, 1 per segment, and I'll start with you. What's your first bold prediction for the Mariners in 2023?
Interesting. Starting with me. Okay.
That's right. I'm putting the ball in your court.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, here's the thing, right? If I do mine first, right, and we get to like 4 minutes, you're going to be like, well, thanks for letting me talk. So here you go. I'm letting you talk.
No, because this is a topic I don't care that much about, so you can talk away. All right. How spicy do you want the first one to be?
I think we should go because I'm gonna save my spiciest for last. So let's be mild here. We'll go mild, medium, and hot.
Okay. So I guess mild. I almost struggle to say this is a bold prediction, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. Julio Rodriguez wins American League MVP, right?
Ooh.
Like that's just such an easy one.
All right.
And I think it's pretty mild, right? Like it's definitely not hot because he's Julio, he can do whatever he wants. So,
it's still fairly bold because like he has to beat out Aaron Judge and Ohtani and Yordan Alvarez and all those guys. Yeah.
So, I just feel like when we look at what Julio is, the national media essentially is paying attention. Everybody knows who Julio is. There's no introduction needed. He's quickly becoming the face of baseball, both him and Ohtani. And he actually likes that spotlight. He craves it. He doesn't mind. He doesn't shy away from it. And so I think that's going to help. The Mariners are going to be good this year, I think, obviously. So that helps, even though it really shouldn't matter. But I think that'll help. Julio hit 28 home runs last year and basically, 2 months short of a full season when you think about it, because April he was so terrible he didn't hit any, and then he missed about 30 games with injury. So I think he could hit, could push 35, 40 home runs. The steals, we'll see. He can certainly steal 40 bags. I don't know how aggressive the Mariners want to be in that avenue, just because, you run the risk of Julio getting hurt, and you certainly don't want to do that. So if they let him run, I think he's going to win MVP. I think he's going to hit about 280, probably 360, 370 on base. I think the slugging is going to go up a little bit. I think you're going to see, 35 home runs. He's going to score a ton of runs in this lineup. He's going to be an above average defender. I think it's basically, we're going to look at it and say like, oh yeah, he had a Mike Trout type of year. So Julio is going to be a 8-win player this year.
Whew. All right. I like it. Very cool. My first 2 bold predictions could go in this spot if we're thinking mild. The second one, the one that I'm not going to do here, I only consider it to be fairly mild because we've talked so much about it. Little hint for you guys. You probably know what we're talking about. But my first bold prediction actually has to do with the All-Star game. I'm going to say the Mariners have 6 All-Stars this year. Julio Rodriguez, George Kirby, Teoscar Hernandez, Andres Munoz, Ty France, and Colby, Robbie Ray.
Mm-hmm.
You've sold me on it. I believe the
Not just a hat rack, my friend.
The velocity is there now to start the year. The splitter looks like it's actually a viable pitch that should help him. Because again, I said this when we were doing our pitching preview that I don't think, of all these guys, not just with the Mariners, but around the league that have adopted a splitter this offseason, I don't think that pitch benefits anyone more than Robbie Ray having something that breaks away from righties.
I'd say Logan Gilbert, but yeah, it definitely would help.
I mean, but Gilbert already had kind of a changeup anyway, so it's like,
does he?
I mean, well, that's up for debate. But yeah, I just don't think that. I think this adds an element to Robbie's repertoire that he just didn't have. And I think that it could potentially take him to the next level to have an even better season than the year that he actually won the Cy Young. And so, I think he's going to get off to a hot start here and actually get involved in the All-Star game. I know Luis Castillo gets omitted here, and maybe that's also kind of a little bit of a bold prediction that Luis Castillo does not make the All-Star game. But, I mean, pitcher slots are so limited in the All-Star game. I feel like if the Mariners are going to get pitchers in, at most, they're probably only going to get 2, at least for the starters. And I have 3 overall here with Munoz as one of the few relievers to get in. And yeah, Julio, obvious. Teoscar, I think that's pretty obvious as long as he stays healthy. Ty France is interesting, right? Because
spicy, yeah.
Yeah, it's spicy.
A lot of good first basemen.
I mean, he should have got in without being a reserve last year.
Yeah.
But and I don't think that he's necessarily going to get off to as hot of a start as he did last year, but I think he's just going to be consistent, man. I think he's going to put up the high average. He's going to get on base a lot. And I think he's going to hit for more power this year, too. We talked about that a little bit last week as well. So, yeah, I think the Mariners are going to get 6 guys in the All-Star game in front of their home crowd in Seattle. So, All right. So we got more bold predictions coming up here in just a moment. But real quick, a reminder, this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by FanDuel. The tournament is heating up, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LOCKEDON to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen. So, Colby, you're giving away another one of your cards. Tell the folks what you're giving away and how they can win that.
Yeah, so giveaway is pretty simple. Giving away this autographed Cal Raleigh card, big dumper. The guy with the second biggest hit in Mariners franchise history. Giving away that card to enter is very simple. It's just like the last few giveaways we've done. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, any comment you want in the comment section of the videos, any video you want. The way it works is, we just pick a random video. We have a random number generator, pick a random video. And then we have, there's a software where you can just put the URL of the comment of the video into the randomizer, and it'll just pull a random comment out. And that's how we pick. So you don't have to butter us up, guys. It really is random. But, I won't say that it's always nice to be nice. That's all I'm saying.
True. Yeah. And speaking of being nice, speaking of doing, something good, we are running a fundraiser right now with Feeding America. We partner with Feeding America to help get meals to those in need in the U.S. And we the first part of this fundraiser is that every new subscriber that we get between this past Monday and May 1st, we're going to be donating 10 cents. And that's basically a meal, right? Because with their deal with wholesalers, one meal essentially costs 10 cents. So we are donating a meal per subscriber that we earn on YouTube. The second part, though, is that we also put up a donation link for you guys to donate if you have the means to do so. And we set a goal for $500, saying, you know what? That's kind of us shooting for the moon here, given our reach. And wow, no, actually, because you guys have obliterated that goal. I'm going to refresh this page here because it seems like the number continues to climb every time I look at it. Yeah, we're at $1,635 raised. So that is 16,000-ish meals already raised for Feeding America. That it's just incredible because even when we were recording our episode yesterday, I think we're at like $400.
No, we were about $200.
$200.
Yeah.
So
we almost tripled our overall goal in one day between recordings. So that's really something.
That's I don't even have words really to express how I feel about that. Right now our top donor is George, who donated $162. So I'm going to assume one for every regular season game.
Yeah. Yeah, I could read off some of these, but man, we got so many yesterday. I don't know if we'd be here all day trying to read these. So
yeah,
thank you, George, Nick, Jason. We had a ton of anonymous donors, which is always really cool.
Yeah.
Jose Antonio Alvarado is actually from Puerto Rico. He donated $10. Adam Clinton Simmons, we know Adam.
Yeah.
He donated $100. Mariner Mojo, who likes to steal our clips, they donated $100.
they're making up for it.
Yeah. Nick,
thank
Nick,
you,
Jason,
Colton. Thank
Ethan,
you. I sorry if I forget the other guy that runs Mariners Mojo
Colton,
over there.
So,
yeah, but we know
go
Colton.
way back.
Yeah, we go way back.
How about Dolphin MJF? I don't know what that is, but they donated $125. Dana and Ken donated yesterday. Like I said, I'm running out of.
Yeah, we got Benjamin with 10. We got Taylor with 50. We got Elvis with 20. We got Zach with $1. We got Drake with 10. We got a bunch of anonymous ones, including a $69 donation. Very nice.
Yeah, Jesse, Jedrick, Ian, more anonymous. Bryce, Freddie, Tim. I'm sorry if I think we read Bryce's yesterday. So and of course Travis, who made the first donation.
Yeah,
and
Mark.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Let's keep it going.
Let's get to 2K before the end of the night, before first pitch tomorrow. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in negotiations with Ty about something in regards to this, so we'll see if I can land that plane or not.
We've had discussions about this on our Patreon, by the way. Scan the QR code right up there if you want to subscribe. By the way, we got a new little partnership over there as well that you can read about. So check that out. There's a new perk that we've added to our Patreon. So
if you guys, if you guys subscribe to the channel, 10 cents, that's the money we've raised. That's not even including the new subscriber count. I think we're at about 75 new subscribers, so 75 meals just from clicking the button, guys. So that's, and obviously if you want to donate directly, you can do that as well. There's a link in the description that'll take you to the fund, and we'll see how far we can get. I was honestly terrified we wouldn't get to $500 in the month, and I didn't know how big our reach was, and all that stuff, and we almost raised $1,500 on day 2 alone. So let's see how high we can get this thing, and hey, if you want to tag some people who might be able to blow this thing up even further, let's shoot for the stars. Let's do this thing.
Let's make it happen.
And let's get it to a point so high that Ty almost has to do the deal I'm trying to throw out there.
Yeah. So, and also, if you don't have the means to donate yourself, just subscribe. Like we said, that's a meal right there. Get your friends to subscribe. Get your family members to subscribe. Just tell anyone to subscribe, and each subscription leads to a meal and gives a meal to someone who needs it. So yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. This has been incredible. We're going to continue to talk about this, over the next few episodes, obviously, as we continue to do this fundraiser for those that might be new and haven't heard about the fundraiser, et cetera. So if you hear us talk about it, you can skip over that in future episodes if you don't want to go over the whole same old spiel. But let's get back into these bold predictions here, Colby. What's your number 2? What are you feeling here?
So number 2, I don't know if this is the boldest one or my last one is the boldest one. But I'm gonna assume this one's a little less bold. So,
Okay.
number 2, it of course involves Jarred Kelenic. Jarred
Ah.
Kelenic will put up a negative WR. No, I'm joking.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
yeah.
We're going to get
So
negative with these bold
yeah,
predictions.
of course. Jarred Kelenic will not post an average major league season at the plate. He'll post an above average one because Jarred Kelenic is putting up a 115 WRC plus in 2023. That is
All
almost
right.
a 50% increase over his production from last year. How's he going to do it? He's going to hit a lot of home runs and he's going to walk a lot. Is he going to
Yeah.
hit 250? No, probably not. But he's going to hit 25 bombs. He's going to walk, 60, 70 times. And the strikeout rate is going to go down. We know Kelenic hits the ball hard, plenty hard. So if the strikeout rate goes down, if he's making more contact, that's eventually going to turn into more hits. And notice I didn't mention the shift at all because that's really not going to help him that much. So Jarred Kelenic is going to put up a 115 WRC plus this year.
All right, so that kind of leads me to a bonus bold prediction that didn't make the cut for me. I actually wrote out like 5, so this was one of them that I was like, I like these other 3 better. So I was going to, because I've talked about this guy over the last couple of days, and I keep on thinking about it, and I've explained my reason for it. So if you want to hear my reason for it, go back to yesterday's episode. I talked about it a little bit. I think AJ Pollock is going to have one of the 5 highest WRC plus marks on the Mariners, and it's not going to be because something went horribly wrong. That's pretty bold, right? That's pretty bold.
That's up there, man. Yeah,
and it didn't make the cut, so I don't know. Yeah, just real quick on that. Again, I know, go back to the other episode and you can hear like a bigger or longer explanation for it. But Pollock has really never been that bad against righties outside of last year. He's been a 107 WRC plus guy against righties. I am a little concerned about him getting overexposed, but I think if he ends up facing, lefties and kind of avoids righties eventually over the course of the season, I think his WRC plus could stay at 120-ish, 125-ish range. Because he just mashes those, he mashes lefties. Wasn't it like a 169 WRC plus last year or something like that against lefties? They're ridiculous. So if that's the majority of guys that he ends up facing, then his overall WRC plus should end up looking pretty nice. So, all right. So my actual number 2 bold prediction here. George Kirby wins the Cy Young. Yeah. We've talked about that. That's going to be my prediction for tomorrow as well when we do our league-wide predictions. But I've added something on top of that. The Mariners will not only have the American League Cy Young winner, they will also have 2 other pitchers finish in the top 10 of Cy Young voting in the American League. And they'll have 4 technically, if you include Kirby, in the top 15.
Okay.
How those guys shake out, I don't know. We won't get that deep into it. But overall, some combination of George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Robbie Ray, and Logan Gilbert will finish in the top 15 of American League Cy Young voting.
Do they even go to 15?
Well, I don't think that they announce it, but obviously there are other guys that don't make the top 10 that get voted for. So,
right. Okay.
Look, the top 15 one is one that we probably won't be able to verify at year's end, but we can verify the top 10. So as long as the Mariners get 3 guys within the top 10, I think that counts for this bold prediction to be a success.
Sure. Because at that point, we're arguing whether or not it's the greatest rotation of all time.
Yeah, I mean, because that's pretty.
I don't
that's
know if any
uncharted
rotation's
territory.
ever done that before.
There
Detroit
were
back in the day when they had, Scherzer. It wasn't even like elite Scherzer, but
right.
we still had Scherzer and Verlander and
Verlander.
Anibal Sanchez and
Yeah.
Doug Fister. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah. So last year there were 2 Astros, there were 2 Blue Jays in the top 10. But yeah, what's stopping a third Mariner from sneaking into the top 10? And again, we're talking about one of the
voters.
But here's the thing, right? So you have 2 guys that have either won a Cy Young or have legitimately contended for one. And then you have 2 guys that have the ceilings to go win one or contend for one legitimately. Why can't they all do that in the same year? What's stopping them from doing that? I'm just saying, this pitching staff is going to win this team a lot of games. It's going to carry them, especially if the offense still, has some uncertainty on the back end of its lineup. But, the rotation is going to need to carry this team. But I think they're going to be even better than what we saw last year. Obviously the key is going to be health because they were remarkably healthy last year. But the upside of those 4 guys, ridiculous. Sky's the limit for any of these guys. You tell me that Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray, Luis Castillo, or George Kirby is going to win the American League Cy Young, at the end of the year, I won't even bat an eye. I can wrap my head around any of those 4 guys actually winning this. So, yeah. All right. So, I guess we have our hottest, boldest predictions here coming up. I don't know. I don't know what Colby says. He might be doing this on the fly. I have no clue. I think he might be. I actually prepared because, it's me. And then, how
because
this guy
Ty
is.
doesn't have the natural talent to fall back on. Yeah. Ty has to be at the gym at 4 a.m.
Right.
to work on his jumper.
Right.
I just roll out of bed and
You came out of the womb with a 6-pack. Yeah.
I mean, no, but you guys get the analogy.
Right. All right. So before we get into the final bold predictions of the show, let me tell you, fine folks, about Ultimate Baseball GM. Ever dreamed of becoming an MLB GM and managing your professional baseball franchise? Well, your dream can come true, and this game is definitely for you. Manage every strategic aspect of your team, play through the season, and lead your team to glory. You're responsible for hiring the right coaches and staff, managing team finances, scouting and drafting players, managing difficult personalities, navigating your franchise through free agency, and all the ups and downs of a season. All this in a challenging and realistic game world. Ultimate Baseball GM is completely free and playable offline, or you can play on the go as you want and when you want. It's basically the Jerry Dipoto simulator. So instead of saying Chills, Dipoto did it again, you can now say Chills, I did it again. Download it now, and Locked On Mariners listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up on the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen here on opening day Eve. And to celebrate the final day of the off season, we are making some bold predictions for the Mariners 2023 regular season. And Colby, we're at our last ones here. What's your final bold prediction heading into the year?
Well, you kind of stole my thunder with your second one, but I guess I'll just stick with it. I think you guys probably all saw this coming. Robbie Ray, baby. Robbie Ray is going to win the American League Cy Young Award.
Oh my God.
That Robbie Ray is about to become the best pitcher in the American League. And this time he'll actually have earned the American League Cy Young Award. I think Robbie's going for a 5-6 win season. He's going to post near 200 innings. He's going to strike out 230, 240 guys. ERA is going to be in the low 3s. FIP's going to be in the 2s. Like, Robbie Ray's up for a huge year. The things we know about Robbie Ray, even when he had a down year last year, still strikes guys out, still pitches a lot of innings. Those are 2 huge factors when we talk about Cy Young Awards. Robbie's got them both in his back pocket. All he has to do now is try and avoid the long ball a little bit better than he did last year. The new fastball velocity, or the re-emerging fastball velocity, is going to help him do that. The sharper slider is going to help him do that. The splitter is going to help him do that. And oh, by the way, he's actually throwing the slider for strikes. He doesn't need swings to get the slider, to get strikes on the slider right now. That's how good it is. If he can maintain this level throughout most of the season, Robbie Ray is going to get serious Cy Young consideration, and he should. And I think he's going to do it. So I think Robbie Ray wins the American League Cy Young in 2023.
Then why did you have me bet $50 for you on George Kirby?
Because Kirby had better odds.
Okay,
Robbie Ray was only at plus 25.
Fair.
Right.
Good point.
So it's like, I don't need that. To quote Michael Scott, I don't need $600. I already have $600, more or less. So that's why I bet on George Kirby.
So would we consider the Mariners winning the AL West a bold prediction?
No.
Okay. So that's why I'm going to take this a step further.
Oh, boy.
The Mariners will not only win the AL West.
Oh, boy.
but they will do so by 7 or more games this year.
Whoa. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Because right now, where these two teams stand, yeah, the Astros are still stacked, but Yordan Alvarez got a late start to spring. Jose Altuve is going to miss considerable time. Justin Verlander is gone. Lance McCullers is hurt. I think the Mariners are going to be able to get out to a hot start and put some ground in between them and Houston before Houston gets fully healthy. And let's just face it, you look at the assets these two teams have to go out and get better at the trade deadline. I feel significantly more confident in the Mariners' ability to get way better than the Astros can at the deadline. And I think that's just going to put even more ground in between these two teams. And we're going to look up at the end of the regular season, and the Mariners are going to win the AL West by at least 7 games. At least 7 games.
At least. Okay. Well, you know, my favorite part of these bold predictions are
what?
People will remember them. They'll write them down.
That's right.
At the end, they'll come back and be like, you guys are idiots.
That's right. Because they did that last year, obviously. Yeah.
How dare these bold predictions didn't come true. That's always my favorite part with bold predictions, right?
Right.
People, they don't understand the word bold or they don't understand the word predictions. So yeah, it's always fun to, you know, go back and like, haha, you said Robbie Ray was going to win the Cy Young and he finished 9th. Like, oh yeah, right. Ouch, you got me. So yeah, bold prediction, guys. Why have predictions if they're not going to be bold? That's what tomorrow's show is for. All right.
Exactly.
So yeah, tomorrow we'll pick Aaron Judge to win the American League MVP award, or will we? Tomorrow we'll pick Shohei Ohtani to win the Cy Young, or will we?
Yeah, I'm not.
So tomorrow we'll make predictions. Today it's about being bold.
That's right.
Yes.
And fortune favors the bold, of course. So we're going to be going league wide tomorrow. We're going to also do some Mariners predictions, like, you know, team awards, stuff like that. And then we'll try and give you guys a little bit of a preview for the game, even though we're probably going to be posting this episode like 4 hours before first pitch. So that won't be super relevant, but we'll talk a little bit about Luis Castillo versus Shane Bieber, all that. Also, real quick, just a question for you guys, because you guys do love card giveaways, but are you guys interested in, like, would these be considered vintage now? Because they're like 20 years old.
On eBay, anything over 20 years old can be tagged as vintage.
Okay. All right. So we'll call these vintage Mariners cards. They're not signed. They're not autos. But I went down to the storage unit. I'm down here with my family in New Mexico. I went to my storage unit and I looked at a bunch of my childhood stuff, and I found my big binder of cards, and I found a bunch of old Mariners cards from like the early 2000s, late 90s, like this American League Rookie of the Year Ichiro card. Would you guys be interested in a giveaway featuring some of these cards? I also have, let's see here. We got Desi Relaford, folks. We got Desi Relaford. Yeah. Look at him flashing his shiny, fancy autographed big dumper card. But yeah, if you guys are interested in those kinds of cards in a giveaway, let me know. Maybe I could put together like a pack of like random vintage Mariners cards for you guys that has like, I don't know, 7 to 10. Because like these things, I don't think they're worth much. So it's not really, it's no skin off my back. I found them today and I was thinking like, hey, maybe you guys would like these more than, or would appreciate them more than maybe I would. So yeah, that's going to do it for our show. Unless you have anything else to add, Colby. You good? He's got the face that says, I want to get out of here. So we're going to get out of here. That's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Hey, it's under 30 minutes right now. We did really good.
Not if you keep talking, it's not going to be.
For Colby Padnote, I'm Trident Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, that's CANEGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Locked On Mariners. That's one word, Locked On Mariners. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. And thank you again for making us your first listen. Now, for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts, just like us. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And with that, have yourself a beautiful baseball day. And we'll see you tomorrow on opening day. Peace.